Good morning, everybody. Our first night in our not tiny house, and we have a snow storm coming. Let me see if I can find a non-screened window. No windows without screens on this side of the house. Anyway, it's snowing, and we're supposed to get anywhere between 3 and 9 inches of snow today. And we still have to empty the moving truck. Yesterday was our first day at our new house, and we have the moving truck here, the big Penske, and it's snowing hard. It's really coming down. So it's supposed to snow all day today, and well, I don't know what we're going to get accomplished. We've got to empty that moving truck. So the good thing is the trees block the snow from coming straight down, so we'll see how that turns out as well. Got my little Amish shed out there. Can you see it? Out in the yard. It's going to be pretty though, but we'll see what happens today. It's our first morning in our not tiny house. Well, everybody, our first day on the grid, and we lost the grid. Mom, you're familiar and comfortable with that because you grew up in the country, or we have lived in the country, and you're used to not having power, right?
Doesn't bother me any. We have candles.
Melanie and I are not used to not having power and being depending on other people. So I think it's very ironic that we moved to the grid and lost power.
Good thing you're going off the grid again.
Day one on the grid, and we lose power. How ironic. How very strange. So that means no heat. That means no water. So we've closed the curtains all the way through to retain some heat. Although it's very weird. There's no snow on the ground, so there shouldn't have been a problem. We really shouldn't have lost power that easy. But that's why I prefer to live off the grid and be in control myself. That way, I mean, Melanie and I never lost power. We never really lost power.
You never had power.
What?
I said you never really had power per se.
Well, we had electricity. We just never had
right.
grid power, but we had power. We had our own. But we may have had problems with wiring now and then, but we still had the batteries, so we never really lost power. We just had to reduce consumption at times. Speaking of which, my camera battery is drained and we have no way to charge it. So I'm going to have to get my battery banks out of the truck and get something set up soon, because we could be out of power for days in situations like this. You just never know. So no refrigeration, which we had a propane fridge back at the tiny house. In here, it's on the grid, so we lose refrigeration. No heat, whereas we had a wood stove, and here it was propane, but heat powered, so we lost heat, or electric powered, so we lost heat. No water, whereas over there it was battery operated pump and rainwater collection, and here it's a well, so we have no water. No toilets, because we had composting toilets, and here it's all tied to the grid. So it's huge difference. Huge change in lifestyle. Losing modern conveniences the day you moved into them, Mom. It is weird. It's ironic.
Well, I think it's a good thing that you're going to get some of it off or get some of your other back. So then, therefore, when this happens, you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
You'll be just fine.
It's so ironic that we move on the grid and day one we lose it. That is weird. Well, guys, adventures begin on the off the grid house. Well, there it is, guys. I moved the big cabinet away. I can't move that because it's bolted to the wall and my power tools are not convenient to reach. There's the cabinet, and I put the shelving against the wall over here. I want to move this other big shelf over here, but there's a big board in the way. And again, my power tools are not convenient. But so far, I haven't pulled anything into here of our belongings. I've got the first trailer load right here, but I've decided to first get some video for you before I go ahead and show that. Or put it in here, I should say. Sorry, my head is still 5 steps ahead in what I'm doing next as I look around. But it sure looks better than it did. And I want this to be a garage. So those things will probably stay back there. The tools I'll end up hanging up on the walls somewhere. But we'll be reorganizing in the future. And I'm going to move that cabinet over so that I can drive my car. Because that cabinet was here right by the garage door, which made it impossible and inconvenient to drive in. So now I'll have a real garage. Well, it's clean. They're using the kitchen now for cleaning other stuff. How are we looking in here, Mom?
Pretty good.
Mom's doing the kitchen. And Melanie's got the living room. And I'm outside doing the truck. Well, I'm getting it. This was packed flush with the door to the ceiling. I'm getting it out of here, slowly, bit by bit.